All right, buckle up, everybody, because we are diving into a real doozy this time.
Oh, I know, I know.
We asked you to throw some truly bizarre mysteries our way, and, well, let's just say you delivered.
You really did.
Seriously, though, this collection of writings, journals, philosophical musings, investigations, all centered around something called the September Zone.
Catchy name.
I'm hooked already, but honestly, where do we even begin with this? What was your first impression? What really grabbed your attention?
You know, it's funny. For me, it was Dr. August September himself.
Oh, the man behind the curtain, so to speak.
Exactly. He's this brilliant, eccentric dude, a cardiologist and a physicist who discovered this zone over a century ago.
Okay, so we're dealing with a real Renaissance man here.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. The zone, this September zone, it's not your average geographical discovery.
What do you mean?
I mean, we're talking about reality-bending stuff. Think
Oh.
sand transforming into mirrors.
Hold on, sand turning into mirrors. Okay, now you have to tell me more about this zone.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
It's described as this place where reality seems to play by a different set of rules.
Like a whole other dimension.
That's the vibe I'm getting. And the writings keep mentioning its perfection and completeness, like it operates on a level of reality we just can't grasp yet.
Okay, my curiosity is officially piqued.
Oh, and it gets even better.
How so?
Shortly after finding this zone, Dr. September disappears into it.
Vanishes without a trace.
Poof. Gone. But, and this is a big but,
I'm listening.
he's not entirely silent. There are these individuals they're referred to as Dr. September's contacts.
Like a secret society.
Kinda. They receive messages, cryptic messages, that seem to offer glimpses into the zone, maybe even clues on how to reach it.
Oh, I knew it. There had to be more to this story.
Trust me, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
All right, so we've got a mysterious zone, a missing scientist, and these secret messages floating around.
Don't forget our narrator, Jonothon Jackson Quick. He's the one piecing this all together for us,
Oh, yeah, he's a bit of a character, isn't he?
to say the least. Quick is this journalist who seems to find the extraordinary hidden within the mundane.
Give me an example. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
His writing jumps from discussing the perfect cucumber sandwich to the absurdity of freshly paved roads.
Sounds like someone who appreciates the little things in life.
Totally. But it's more than that. His editor literally calls his work slop.
Ouch.
I know, right?
Okay.
But here's the kicker. He keeps publishing it.
There's got to be a reason for that.
I think there is. And it might tie into this whole September zone mystery more than we realize.
Okay, you've definitely got my attention now. Tell me more.
This concept of overstanding keeps popping up in the text.
You mentioned that earlier, didn't you? What exactly does it mean?
Well, it seems to be about going beyond just surface-level understanding.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion.
More like seeing the onion as part of a larger ecosystem,
Yeah.
understanding its role in the grand scheme of things.
I think I'm starting to get it.
And it's crucial to how Quick approaches his work, maybe even to Dr. September's whole deal with the zone.
Okay, but how does overstanding explain why Quick's editor keeps publishing his seemingly random ramblings?
Well, Quick doesn't just observe things. He digs deeper, finds these unexpected connections.
like that time he went to a rugby match and completely missed the game because he was fixated on a bloody napkin and the bartender's afro wig.
Exactly. Most people would just focus on the match, but Quick, he sees something else entirely.
So he's not just distracted, he's seeing something we're missing.
Maybe he even says something like, truth can be found in the gutters.
Wow, that's pretty deep.
Right. And maybe that's why his editor keeps publishing his work. Maybe he recognizes that there's something valuable in Quick's unique perspective.
All right, so Quick is looking for truth in the unexpected, but how does that connect to the September zone?
Well, remember all those strange details Quick mentions. Contagions that are beneficial, water flowing from a dry well, the idea that you can make your own AI.
Yeah, it's like a weird fever dream.
Exactly. But what if these aren't just random ramblings? What if these are clues, breadcrumbs left by Dr. September?
Oh, like a trail leading to the zone.
Possibly. It's like Quick's fixation on the mundane is actually helping him decipher Dr. September's message.
So Quick might be closer to understanding the zone than anyone else.
He could be. And remember that emphasis on overstanding. What if that's the key to accessing the zone? A shift in perspective, a way of seeing beyond our normal limitations.
So it's not just about finding a physical location, it's about changing how we think.
That's the idea. What if the September zone isn't just a place, but a state of consciousness, a different level of understanding?
Okay, now my mind is officially blown, but how do we even begin to shift our perspective like that?
Well, Quick offers us some hints, like that story about the man in the nut factory who wished he were a sailboat.
Wait, what?
I know, it sounds bizarre, but it speaks to this desire to transcend our current limitations, to break free from the ordinary.
Like Dr. September entering the zone.
Exactly. Maybe Quick, through his unique way of observing the world, is showing us how to do the same.
Okay, so instead of just going through the motions, we need to be more like quick, pay attention to the details, question everything.
I think that's a great takeaway. What if the answers we're looking for are hidden in plain sight?
That's a pretty empowering thought, but what about those manufactured fish with the laxative effect? Where do they fit in?
Ah, yes, the infamous laxative fish.
They gotta have some deeper meaning, right?
Well, remember, Quick loves to juxtapose the unexpected.
Like the ordinary with the extraordinary.
Exactly. Maybe those fish are a metaphor for the unintended consequences of our actions, a reminder that even the best-laid plans can go awry.
Or maybe he just thought it was funny.
That's always a possibility with Quick.
True, but I think I like the metaphor interpretation better. It adds another layer to his writing.
It does, but the text doesn't give us much concrete information about the zone itself.
So we're still left with a lot of unanswered questions.
We are, but maybe that's part of the point.
You mean the journey is just as important as the destination?
Exactly. The September zone might not be about finding all the answers, but about embracing the mystery, the unknown.
Okay, that's actually a pretty profound thought.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it speaks to the power of Quick's writing. Even without concrete answers, he makes us think, he makes us question.
He definitely makes us question, I have to say. This deep dive has really gotten me thinking.
Me too. And I think it's a good time to pause and let our listeners process everything we've covered so far.
Yeah, this is a lot to take in. Okay, so I think it's safe to say we've gone pretty deep down the rabbit hole with this September zone thing.
We really have. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it?
Absolutely fascinating. And honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all.
Me too. But I think that's part of what makes it so intriguing.
Right. It's like a puzzle with missing pieces. But even without the full picture, it sparked a ton of questions and ideas.
And that's a good thing, right? To be challenged, to have our assumptions questioned.
Definitely, but let's try to make some sense of it all, at least for our listeners.
Okay, sounds good to me.
So, based on these writings, what can we actually say we know about this September zone? What are the key takeaways?
Well, first off, we know it exists, at least according to Dr. September and his contacts.
Right, but it's not like some place you can find on a map, is it?
No, it's definitely not your typical travel destination.
We know it has these bizarre properties, sand turning into mirrors, defying our understanding of physics.
And that Dr. September, a brilliant but admittedly eccentric scientist, vanished into it over a century ago.
Leaving behind a trail of cryptic messages for those brave enough to follow.
Precisely. And those messages, they're not your average set of instructions.
More like riddles wrapped in enigmas, sprinkled with absurdity.
Exactly. It seems like the key to unlocking the secrets of the September zone isn't about logic or reason. It's about something more, something Quick calls overstanding.
Right, that word keeps coming up, and I'm starting to think it's the most important piece of this whole puzzle.
I think you're right. Overstanding seems to be about transcending our limited perception, seeing the connections between seemingly disparate things, embracing paradox and ambiguity.
Which is exactly what Jonothon Jackson Quick seems to do in his writing.
Right. He jumps from one seemingly random observation to the next, but there's a method to his madness, a deeper meaning hidden beneath the surface.
And maybe, just maybe, that's what Dr. September was trying to convey through his cryptic messages.
Maybe he wanted his contacts to learn to see the world the way Quick does, to embrace the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary.
To find the truth in the gutters, as Quick puts it.
Exactly. And maybe that's the key to not only understanding the September zone, but to understanding ourselves and our place in the universe.
So what you're saying is, if we want to find our own September zone, we need to be more like Quick.
I think that's a great starting point. Pay attention to the details, question your assumptions, don't dismiss anything as meaningless or irrelevant.
Look for the connections, the hidden patterns, the deeper meaning behind the everyday chaos.
Exactly. Embrace the mystery. Be open to the possibility that reality is far more expansive and wondrous than we can currently comprehend.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's been a wild ride exploring the September zone with you.
Same here. And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, challenged your assumptions, and maybe even inspired you to find your own September zone hidden within the everyday wonders of your life.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those minds open.
You never know what mysteries you might uncover.
It's been over 100 years since Dr. August September, a cardiologist and astrophysicist, discovered the September Zone. Dr. September threw sand into the zone to test the zone's stability. After the particles of sand transformed into a mirror, Dr. September disappeared.